I think Theo Von absolutely hit the nail on the head and said what everyone was thinking in this little clip here.
It feels like some people in the world, like some like dark and powerful people, know what's going on and they're not telling the rest of us.
Yep, as that's usually the story of time, as the situation definitely seems very dark, and that it only will be getting darker from here, especially after what happened to Charlie Kirk. There's also a lot of crazy things regarding race relations, which aren't the best here in America, as the political divide is at its highest, as well as tensions and escalations internationally and geopolitically, which are highlighting a very unstable type of situation that I think could translate now into the bigger fight happening right now between Donald Trump and the U.S. Federal Reserve banking system. As there's a lot of presidents that usually go up against these quasi-private public banking institutions, and they don't usually turn out that well. As a lot of people are saying, the temperature is definitely being turned up in the room, as silver is having some very interesting movements here, as I wanted to dedicate this video into what's happening right now between Donald Trump and the Federal Reserve banking system, which Alex Jones is predicting that Trump will nationalize. Yes, he made a very interesting, compelling argument. We're going to be talking about that and a lot more in this independent media broadcast. If you appreciate it, subscribe, click the notification button, as of course there's a lot of big decisions that are going to be made this week for the financial future of the United States, the U.S. petrodollar and U.S. hegemony, as the key crux of the U.S. economy. The Federal Reserve is soon to announce some major decisions, as Donald Trump is also expected to fight the Federal Reserve in order to try to lower interest rates. Donald Trump has been trying to do this for an extremely long time, and the Federal Reserve is like, we're not going to listen to you, Donald Trump here, which now has us in this very interesting type of circumstance, a situation, as Politico is reporting that Trump's going to take over the Federal Reserve if the court gives Trump authority to decide the grounds on which the Fed board members can be ousted. It could create a pathway to removing other central bank officials. And in my personal opinion, please, yes, more. Yes, as Wall Street has shrugged off President Donald Trump's attempt to fire Wall Street Federal Reserve official Lisa Cook. There's also some very interesting allegations against her, especially when it comes to potential fraud that is being heard right now. But the central bank's insulation from the president could eventually hinge on whether investors start to panic. Now, it's going to be interesting to see how the markets respond to a lot of this instability, as even the New York Post is reporting Trump will take over the Fed. Economic advisor Larry Kudlow predicts on Pod Force One. President Trump's war with Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell stretches all the way back to Donald Trump's first term and is likely to end in a total White House takeover of the central bank when Powell departs in May. Former economic advisor Larry Kudlow told the Post here. Listen, let's be honest with ourselves. The Federal Reserve, as I've been warning for about 15 years now, I think over 18, to be quite honest with you. I don't know. An extremely long time. I've been talking about the plight and the problems that the Federal Reserve banking system creates for you and your family, as literally, as Brandon Dilley says, it's a Ponzi scheme. It is. You look at the purchasing power of the dollar. You look at all the assets that are going up in value. As he says, the entire thing needs to be abolished. To hell with firing people here and there. Yeah, I agree. Absolutely. Trump needs to do more. And a lot of his supporters are asking him to do a lot more than just that. When we look at other historical parts, this wouldn't be the first time that the United States acted without a central bank. Many times that they did, many times that they acted without an income tax, there was tremendous amounts of prosperity. Now, we live under a system that I think is broken, and I think Donald Trump needs to do everything in his power in order to fix it. Now, Jerome Powell was actually asked about, hey, how do you feel about Donald Trump making these maneuvers? This is what he had to say.
Hi, Victoria Guida with Politico. Some of the president-elect's advisors have suggested that you should resign. If he asked you to leave, would you go?
No.
Can you follow up on, do you think that legally you're not required to leave?
No. I'm not listening.
Yep. Alex had a great response to this. We're going to be playing the full response to this as he just visited the Federal Reserve banking system and talked about the $3.1 billion renovation, which he believes is ending up in some corrupted hands here. $3.1 billion. $3.1 billion. Would it be to renovate a building? Where's that money going to? Who's receiving that money as he's talking about rooftop gardens, top of the top? No expense spared by the taxpayer for this renovation.
Is the private Federal Reserve building, not federal, that's just a name, set up in 1913 with a charter, the fourth branch of government, but cannot be audited.
Yep. Why can't it be audited? Good question. Now, before playing the full clip and playing Alex's response to Jerome Powell, we wanted to talk about the sponsor of today's video, and that, of course, is Argenta Silver, as we are very happy to be working with them, as I must be very upfront and transparent with you, as I think this is one of the most important, monumental kind of market runs right now, in my own personal opinion. The numbers speak for themselves. We are in an enormous breakout in my favorite metal, silver. I'm about to share with you my number one all-time pure silver idea for the coming decade, so I'm not beating around the bush. This is it. One billionaire mining tycoon has just increased his position. On top of that, a prominent Argentinian businessman who has already invested millions in May of this year just raised his own stake by millions of dollars just 2 weeks ago. Together, both of them now only own roughly a quarter of this stock. As you know, silver is near $43 an ounce. I remember when it was still 12. A 14-year high. Wall Street, Bank of America forecasting $4,000 an ounce for gold, and many are even more excited about silver. GDX is up an insane 85% in 2025. GDXJ is up a crazy 90% in 2025. For the first time in history's gold price has actually hit $3,600 an ounce. And the Federal Reserve has just indicated in the past week that interest rate cuts are coming. Could be as soon as this September's meeting just around the corner a few days from now. The breakout in gold and silver and the GDXJ index is what I've been waiting to happen since 2010, and I won't let it pass me by. No way. The moment is rare, it is precious, and it is one I plan to take very active actions in. This is the breakout that I think could happen. You clearly see this as a big breakout. The dollar is trading right at its 3-year support line. 5 years after bottoming in March 2020, market panic, silver has surged by more than 200%. And this is the primary reason that I personally cannot think of a better time to highlight today's sponsor, Argentina Silver. Ticker on your screen, AGAGF. It is available on Interactive Brokers and Schwab. Top 3 reasons Argentina Silver, ticker AGAGF, is currently a top silver idea. 1, 2 highly successful businessmen with proven track records in mining are buying millions and tens of millions of shares. 2, the valuation of the company. Here are the dry figures, which really tell you the story. And the precise owners of the El Cavara spent an estimated 60 million Canadian dollars on this project, discovering the third largest pure silver deposit in Argentina and building a 100-people camp. Argenta purchased this project for only $3.5 million in September. The pure silver deposit contains major silver resources, which are highlighted on the screen on the video, which you're going to be seeing here. Less than 1% of the project area is explored. I cannot overstate the potential here. This is already the third largest underdeveloped pure silver deposit in Argentina. Argentina Silver now has a significant cash position, roughly $18 million in working capital, and they are drilling as we speak. So results are imminent and will continue to come for the next few months. This is one of the reasons that with gold hitting a historic all-time high, that with silver hitting a 12-year high, I am featuring it to you. Again, the ticker on the screen, OTC is AGAGF. Situated in Argentina's top mining jurisdiction, Salta province is the best voted jurisdiction in Latin America by the Fasher Institute of 2023. Not only that, but the government and the previous owners did plenty to build the infrastructure that Argentina Silver has inherited with its acquisition. Ready-to-use camp with over 100 people, 60 kilometers of international roads, and external infrastructure included on an active railroad, pressurized gas pipeline, a road, and a high-voltage power line. Do your homework on Argenta Silver, AGAGF, in the U.S. stock market ticker. Like I said, this really matters to me on a personal level, and a billionaire mining tycoon says that Argentina Silver's resources is a once-in-a-40-year opportunity. Research Argentina Silver, ticker AGAGF. Thank you for them working with us, sponsoring this video, and being able to collaborate with independent media, which I think is more important than ever. I really like to work with sponsors that I believe in. I really like silver, and I think it's a win-win for everyone. So go check out their company. The link is down in the description below. Now, let's get back to this kind of epic proportions battle that's happening right now as Alex Jones kind of laid out his argument to how Donald Trump could soon be making what I believe one of the most dangerous moves of his entire political career, and that is nationalizing the Federal Reserve banking system and actually making it a public system.
Anything Trump says. I'm not doing what Trump says. I'm going to do what I want because I'm independent. Except we can revoke that charter. Congress can do that, you snake.
And Trump has the majority in Congress. So that is true that they could remove that charter, and then they could start saying, oh, yeah, you got to go. You got to go. You got to go. You got to go. Let's get in people that are going to be representative of the U.S. government. Now, a lot of people are like, no, this can't be political. Well, should it be run by the banksters or should it be run by politicians? That's a question that, of course, is being asked right now. And, of course, people on the left are like, no, it needs to be run by the banksters. As, of course, they put down their Occupy Wall Street banners that they held up a few years ago.
And by the way, Powell used to be really arrogant. He ain't looking too arrogant these days. And now he's starting to make noises about, well, maybe I will work with Trump. Yeah, maybe you better capitulate. And we're going to nationalize that bank, just so you know, buddy boy. And that means the people that own the shares in it. Mm-hmm. Thank you. That's coming next, don't you?
And that would be transformative. I mean, America is what, $35 trillion in debt? Why? Who are we paying that debt back to? Well, a bunch of banksters, a bunch of foreign countries. And listen, this could be one of the biggest, most transformational moves of our political lifetimes.
Oh, the Rothschilds set the British Empire at the Battle of Waterloo, crashed their stock market, saying Napoleon had won, got 98% of the stock market for nothing, and have run the British Empire since then and own our Federal Reserve. Well, guess what? We're nationalizing it. You heard it here first. Thank you. Oh, that's a lot bigger than taking Canada or Greenland or the Panama Canal. We'll just take it all.
It's huge. That would be way bigger.
And then if MI6 wants to play some games, well, some people will fall down the stairs, won't they? See, this is a real war now, people. This is 1776 Part 2.
Yeah, and that's the crazy part of it. That's the wild part of this all. Is again, listen, look what's happening with precious metal silver. Some people are saying this is, and again, investmentnews.com. They're saying silver could skyrocket here. The Wall Street Journal is talking about how Trump is making strides in his takeover of the Fed, as they report how the White House officials are now considering who will be serving on the board and who isn't. As, of course, people are saying this is a very unprecedented arrangement, to say the least here. And the way that this is going to work out here will be absolutely fascinating and brilliant. Also, shouts out to Erica Kirk, Charlie Kirk, prayers, respects to them. They just put them on the screen here randomly from the Wall Street Journal. My hearts and prayers are still with them. It feels weird not talking about them because I've just been talking about this different side projects, but my heart is still with them. And I think everyone here in the right-wing alternative media space is still with a very heavy heart with everything that's going on here, as it's only fair to say, especially with all the reactions, things are only going to get crazier and tougher. And Charlie previously even mentioned and talked about, a lot of radicalization is tied with poor economic outlook. Now, listen, whatever you might think about this, when we look at our economic outlook, when we look at the purchasing power of the dollar, we're seeing a situation that is becoming more and more unfair for everyone. Now, poverty is one of the major kind of contributors to extremism, and we've seen that, especially in places like the Middle East. Now, hopefully we are able to avoid that. Hopefully we're able to turn this economy around. Hopefully we're able to have some type of manufacturing. Hopefully when the AI technocratic revolution comes, we won't all be totally wiped out by it. And there will be situations where society restructures in more kind of nice ways where people actually have some kind of economic future. But with the technocratic future, it's also pretty clear that there's going to be a big push for rare earth minerals and major hubs for power. And that's going to be the big kind of determining factor here. Now, the Federal Reserve is definitely an institution that isn't the biggest fan of Donald Trump here. As Reuters is even reporting how inflation is still running hot, job markets are showing cracks, and there's a lot of political pressure mounting here. Now, how will this type of fight and evolve here? Reuters is reporting that the Fed faces a key week of decisions with its memberships, with its political independence that is in doubt here, as the Fed could soon see a new face or lose an old one by the start of Tuesday's meeting. An appeals court could decide as soon as Sunday if Cook can participate. For now, the SEA chair, Miriam, is expected to be confirmed as a Fed governor on Monday, and the Fed is seen cutting rates for the first time since December. We'll see if they actually do that here. It's going to be interesting to see how the markets respond and how they open. That's going to be the big kind of part here because, listen, as soon as Donald Trump got elected, even before he got elected, I'm like, listen, there's a big chance that he's probably going to win the presidency. When he does, look out for what the banksters are going to be doing, right? Look out for the financial instability, because if there ever was an opportune time, and I literally was talking about this before Trump got elected, months before, in the peak of election cycle when everyone was telling us the race are so close, it's so close, it's so close. Oh, Kamala, so great, we love Kamala. Turned out not a lot of people loved Kamala, except Mayor Willie Brown of San Francisco. He really liked her. Anyway, I digress here. I apologize, but I said if there ever was a perfect opportune time to crush the economy and to blame it on right-wing populism, it would be under the Trump administration. And I would say that's something that we have to look out for, as there's potentially a lot of volatility headed our way here. Now, it is fascinating to see what's happening with gold, and markets are trying to see how the Feds will react here, as of course, with the rate cuts potentially happening here, this is definitely going to create a situation that a lot of people are going to try to take advantage of. Now, Forbes is reporting that with Trump potentially taking over the Fed, Bitcoin and crypto braces for serious price shock. We'll see how all those other kind of alternative markets are impacted here. But this is going to be a fascinating turn of events here. And whether you like it or not, when you look at the Federal Reserve banking system, vast majority of people who are financially literate see this as the main key issue to our financial type of suffering and servitude under a fractional Federal Reserve banking system that a lot of people see truly is unfair. This is what Alex had to say at the Federal Reserve that is now going through its kind of transformation to the tune of $3.1 billion in taxpayer funds.
Congress can only repeal the Federal Reserve Act. Now, look at this. This building is not that big. Maybe the size of like a football field and a half. First, it was $2.6 billion to update it. Now it's $3.1 billion to do this. They reportedly built a rooftop gardens, all this other marble, private elevators, private residences for them. They got caught lying to Congress. There's now criminal referrals, criminal investigations going on. But this is where Trump came and did the investigation a month ago. Let's go look at this. So again,
And then he walks around the Federal Reserve banking system, and he's like, you could build like 100-mile highways for that amount of money. He's like, what in the world are they doing? As he calls it, a cash grab. So shouts out to Alex for actually going out there into the field, reporting from the ground. He is an intrepid, amazing part of independent media. Shouts out, prayers, respects to him, everyone else in the right-wing kind of alternative space. Prayers for Charlie Kirk's families, loved ones, friends. Very weird not doing a video about that situation, but I think I'm good. The next video is going to be about Charlie Kirk, the latest situation, full details about that. Lots of crazy bombshells with Blumenthal and Tim Dillon. We're going to get into that. We're going to get into a lot of other stuff. And we're able to do that type of stuff because of sponsors that come in once in a while and help us out. So go check them out. Argenta Silver, shouts out to them for working here with us as an independent media organization. I love you guys. Stay tuned for more. All here exclusively on youtube.com/wearechange.